5 NBA players who will never win a championship. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribe to enter this month's shoutout giveaway. Joe Johnson. You can read all about my skepticism of Joe Johnson's lack of clutch ability in the postseason here. There's a reason they call him No-Show Joe in Atlanta, and they'll be calling him Ringless Joe in Brooklyn. The Hawks were delighted to ship Johnson off to the Nets, along with the 4 years and $89 million remaining on his contract. In exchange, they happily selected some bric-a-bracs from the Nets sidewalk sale as the Nets moved to Brooklyn. The 6-time All-Star nettled Atlanta 4 expiring contracts and 2 draft picks. The 31-year-old Johnson joins a very talented point guard in Deron Williams, and some other guys the Nets didn't particularly want to keep. They gave over $15 million a year to Brook Lopez, a center who can't rebound and sustained multiple injuries to his feet last season, which limited him to just 5 games. The Nets also gave up a lottery pick and $10 million a year for the services of 30-year-old Gerald Wallace, a forward who can't rebound. Consequently, after failing to land a big fish of the offseason in Dwight Howard, the Nets have settled themselves with a host of large contracts for some questionable players, leaving them practically no cap room for the foreseeable future. This should be a fun cast of characters to watch struggle through an increasingly talented Eastern Conference for the next 4 years. By that time, Joe Johnson should be ready to retire ringless. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose won the 2010-2011 NBA MVP. Then he led the Chicago Bulls to the best record in the Eastern Conference. Then he guided them to a 99-87 lead over the Sixers with less than 2 minutes left in Game 1 of the first round of the playoff. Then he tore his ACL. Then Bulls lost 4 of their next 5 games. Then the Bulls lost Kyle Korver, Ronnie Brewer, and CJ Watson in the 2012 offseason. Rose is expected to come back for the Bulls sometime between the middle of January and start of the 2013-2014 season. No word yet on whether he has considered changing his Jeremy Lin-esque style of play so he doesn't end up flat on the court every time he drives the lane, until he refines his masochistic style of running the point that is jeopardizing his career, and until the Bulls actually decide to sign some players who are worth their contracts. Rose's shot at the title looks very slim.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling physically?
I'm feeling fine, just trying to stay healthy.
Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is a 7'1", 270-pound grizzly bear. He's a force in the paint for the Memphis Grizzlies, as he brings a wealth of experience from his days playing in Spain since the tender age of 19. Let's hope he stays that way. In high school, Gasol was known as the Big Burrito, and one look at the photos will tell you why.
So, you don't want to be closer to 300 pounds, you're going to be closer to 250.
Basically, he ate a lot of burritos. Gasol will turn 28 next season, and as age increases, waistlines expand. Mark may be battling his glandular body clock in pursuit of a title. There's also always danger of Gasol and chubby teammate Zach Randolph developing a post-game ritual of 4th meal at Taco Bell. And even in his physical prime, he battled inconsistency in big situations. In the playoffs, Memphis dropped a heartbreaking 7-game series to the Clippers in the first round last season. Gasol went through a lackluster stretch in games 2, 3, and 4, averaging just 9 points per game. Suddenly, the Grizz were in a 3-games-to-1 hole that they couldn't climb out of. Between his age, inconsistency, and love of burritos, Marc Gasol is doomed to remain titleless. Maybe Pau will let him borrow his rings for a special occasion. Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala led the Philadelphia 76ers to a gritty 7-game series against the Celtics in last year's playoffs. It was a tough second-round exit for the Sixers, and an amazing run considering the team's scoring leader was a point guard who didn't start a single game. Now, in the car crash that was seemingly unending Dwight Howard trade talks, Iguodala was thrown clear of Philly and landed in Denver. The Nuggets have a nice little squad shaping up for next season, but unfortunately for Iguodala, no one ever succeeds in Denver. Just ask Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, and Dikembe Mutombo, or Kiki Vandeweghe, or LaFonso Ellis, or Mike D'Antoni, or Dick Motta, or Paul Westhead. I'm sensing that Nuggets fans are cringing right now, and who could blame them? While the Nuggets sometimes enjoy a modicum of success, and they may be poised for a surprisingly deep playoff run this season, a championship is still very far from their grasp. Iguodala is only 28, but that leaves him with precious few prime years to grab a title.
Obviously we wanted to go deeper into the playoffs, and that was our goal. It just didn't happen. Hopefully we learn from the situation and
Amar'e Stoudemire. Amar'e Stoudemire's nickname is STAT. It's an acronym which stands for Standing Tall and Talented. You can read all about it in his children's books. When STAT came to New York in 2010, he proudly proclaimed, "The Knicks are back." He seemed to be making good on his promise when he set a franchise record with 9 consecutive 30-point games. Then, 8 years of running up and down the court and Mike D'Antoni's 7 seconds or less offense began to take their toll. Stoudemire had never exactly been an Iron Man, missing 27 games in 2003 to 2004, all but 3 games in 2005 to 2006. 2006 and 29 games in 2008 to 2009. But as 2010 turned to 2011, Stat began to show signs of wearing down. He was usurped by the acquisition of Carmelo Anthony and further added to his woes by tweaking his back, attempting a dunk during warm-ups for their second playoff game against the Celtics. The Knicks were swept in the series. In the 2011-2012 season, the 29-year-old Stoudemire looked more like a 49-year-old, displaying uninspired matador defense and sluggish activity on offense, also failing to knock down his familiar jump shot from the elbow. He missed 13 games in March and April and returned just in time for the playoff, which was just in time to lacerate his own hand by punching a fire extinguisher case after a loss in Game 2 to Miami. I admired Stoudemire's heart and passion for the game, but he's not the brightest bulb in the box. This is the man who tweeted a gay slur on Gay Pride Day. Between his age, his decaying physique, and his penchant for unwisely timing his volleys, Stat will never win a championship. And this brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.